The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Go to the church, though.
Tawali man, what's up?
Man, can you imagine people just dump everywhere? Someone drinks water and throws the bottle wherever.
Come on, Rogers. What else do you expect people to do with an empty bottle?
Simanya now, recorder. Do you know that plastics take at least 450 years to decompose?
What? That's a long time.
Exactly. Because plastics are made out of a lightweight and flexible material that doesn't decompose easily. And plastics everywhere in the environment cause plastic pollution.
What is plastic pollution now?
It is the accumulation of plastic waste in the environment, like bottles, polythene bags, straws. All of these contribute to plastic pollution.
I have been using them without knowing their effect.
Yeah, a lot of people have. Plastics are a danger to the ecosystem, both on land and in water.
So how can we overcome this problem? Is there something we can do?
Oh yes, we can reduce by minimizing the use of plastics, reuse by repurposing them, or recycle by collecting and processing them into new products.
Everyone wants to change the world, but no one wants to change themselves for the world.
How about we change our habits for the world?
And it starts with me and you.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digitalk. The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
All right, thank you for being part of the Alternative TikTok TV, and this is the Hotline Show. Every 7 p.m. To 9, we always come in here to give you, to make some analysis on what's happening in the country on this mighty platform. The show is called The Hotline, and it's there every Monday. We stream live across all our social media platforms, and our social media handle is the Alternative TikTok. You can also find us on TikTok. The handle or the username is DigTalk TV. Across all social media platforms, be it Instagram, Facebook, you can always find us there, including X. You follow us and you be part of the conversations that we always share on this mighty platform. We always have people of substance on our panel here to discuss matters of national importance. So we can't do that alone, of course. We do that with you, our viewer. Every moment you watch, you like, you share, and subscribe to our platforms. You motivate us and ask us, though it may be indirect, to bring people of substance like we always do here on this show. We have had a lot happening in this week, even in the past days, and they just concluded the month of July. Everyone has a story to tell regarding what has been happening. Some say things have been going well, and others, of course, as usual, are saying some things were not going well. Of recent, we heard of UPDF planned deployment in Gaza. Many people have been talking about this differently. There are those who are saying that Uganda has now achieved a milestone now to be thought over by the United States government and other top these great countries or the big economies to think about Uganda to carry out this peace mission in Gaza. We've been telling you what has been happening inside Gaza, the fire exchange between the Hamas and now Israel. Of course, now people have been saying that now it is not safe for the UPDF to be there, but the officials have been telling us that the Uganda People's Defense Forces is very strong and can protect the people in Gaza, and they will be safe there, that there is nothing to worry about. And they also highlighted that it's going to be a neutral force. It's not going to be there to favor any side that is participating in this war, but it's still a very strong debate. Everyone has how they view this, and my members on this panel will also highlight on this very issue. Regarding the safety of the UPDF there in Gaza, what has triggered the government to respond very quickly like that. But we are still following this to know the details, to know how many personnel will be deployed there, what is the mission, how long is the mission going to take. Many other things will be coming up regarding this very thing. All you need to do is stick to our platforms, and we shall be giving you the best. We also had the LC1 elections in areas where the elections were cancelled. We saw the Electoral Commission also set fresh dates for re-election. And of course, in some areas, largely it was a success, but also in some areas we registered some chaos here and there. And the Electoral Commission promised to find solutions to some of the challenges that are still existing. There are some areas that are still calling upon the Electoral Commission to consider reorganizing fresh elections in those areas that the people declared winners were not the right ones. Still, that one is also there. We heard of the endorsement of Honorable Pollar Awich by the President of the Republic of Uganda. Many have been saying that maybe he could not stand a chance because of the image our country has outside there. Others saying that he's qualified. As for Honorable Pollar Awich, that he's very qualified for this position, but the country where he's coming from maybe is not qualified, but that can be someone's point of view. What do our guests think of this very issue? They will also highlight on that. And a lot, as we will be talking about in our discussion this particular evening. But on our panel this evening, we shall be discussing the state of human rights in this country, Uganda, of course, analyzing the state commitment and areas of improvement. We want to see what the state has done to make sure there is respect for human rights in this country. What are those commitments that are tangible? We can look at and say that at least now the government is fighting, is putting all that is possible to make sure there is respect for human rights in the country. Also, want to see those commitments and also the areas of improvement. Want to see where needs more improvement. We shall be delving deeper into that this particular evening. But on our panel, we are very pleased to have Honorable and retired Major Awich Pollar. He's the former United Nations judge, human rights expert, a lawyer, and a director external affairs. That is National Resistance Movement. And also we are blessed to have Counsel Kakuru Tumusiime. He's a human rights advocate, a legal advisor, and political activist. Good to have you this evening, Counsel. And we also have Honorable Charles Kazooba. He is the East African Legislative Assembly aspirant. That is EALA member aspirant. Is aspiring to be the representative of the Republic of Uganda in the East African Legislative Assembly. Is the executive director for Center for African Affairs and Diplomatic Studies. And he is also a prominent political analyst. Good to have you on this mighty platform. I will start with Honorable retired Major Awich to say hello to us and tell us how life has been going. It's been a while without him here. Good to have you back, Honorable Awich. It's been really long. How is outside there?
Thank you so much. Outside there has been good. On my side, as I always say, not much news because many news, no news is good news. But I must say I have news, and very fortunately, it is good news. Over the times that I was missing, I won 2 good awards. I was awarded by Entire School and the All Boys Order of the Lion. Order of the Lion is the highest award you get in Entire School. So far, it has been awarded to President Museveni, President Kagame, and late Iria Katigaya. I now join in that category with 2 other professors and me. That is Professor Kamuntu, the Minister of Internal Affairs, Professor Kwesiga, the Director of Industrial Research, and myself.
Congratulations.
And all along, 2 things came. When they were looking for a word system, because they had a procedure, everybody else mentioned Awich and somebody. Awich and somebody. So in everybody's mouth, I was a constant. But also the constant in it is my consistency. They said, no, this guy is very consistent. And I try to bring that consistency here. Many times that you see me coming, I either come very early and hide somewhere not to be late, or if I'm late, I pick a border. It doesn't matter whether from Tinder up to here. I abandon a Land Cruiser and come. So that consistency, at least it has been recognized.
We appreciate that.
And along also just a week after that, my class awarded me, my law class from Makera awarded me also for same thing, being consistent. And I was also a little puzzled, saying my peers, those who went with me to school, who knew me from the class. And remember, this is a class which has judges already. We have among us, my class, I don't know when Council left law school. I left law school in 99. 99. 90, you are young. 99. So my class already have judges. I'm in the class of Justice Baguma, the one presiding over the case of Besije. That is my class. And Justice Patience, we have many. So this class again awarded me. So I'm like, if my school did it.
Awarding you for consistency still.
Yes, best performance, exemplary performance. So I'm like, if my school awarded me, and my class, lawyers and judges did the same, I think Hotline is about to give me something also. So it means I'm really good.
Indeed.
I'm really good.
It is being considered, I hope.
I'm really good. So, but we also had elections, LC, where I was in charge, the 10 districts of Lango. And I oversaw it. We got majority. We got majority in LC. Today, we have also done LC2. We have done it. And the LC1, actually, they're going to Mbara for the what got me there. And that made me tour Western Uganda. How I wish everybody knew the country. Because I left, I crossed River Nile, Karoma, went to Kigoma, went to Masindi, to Oima, to Kagadi, to Chenjojo, to Fort Fortal, Ibanda, up to Mbara. Do you know many people will leave Gulu, Kampala till death? They will not know that part of the country. Even if he has lived for 90 years. He has lived for 90 years in Uganda, but he doesn't know. And the roads there are better than Mbara, Kampala. The road there is better than Kampala, Gulu. Big, nice, black, and there are no trailers. So how I wish everybody knows the parts of the country. Maybe it would bring us closer. Because when you don't know somebody, even in the mind, you feel so far away. Mentally, you feel so far away from Kagadi. You feel so far away from Chenjojo. So going to Mbara for my award, I took the western route. Some of my intuition says, don't go to Kampala. For the first time I went to Mbara from Lera, not through Kampala, but the other side. So that has been my week.
Oh, that's interesting. Congratulations. Indeed, you deserve that because you've been consistent even here on this very show. Good to have you, Honorable Awich. To you, Council Kakuru Tumusiime. You're welcome on the Hotline Show. How has been your week and the past days? How is it outside there?
Thank you so much. And I hope it is a good evening to the viewers. I'm always pleased to share with colleagues about what's going on in the country. And the Alternative TikTok has been that platform. My week has been tough and hard, moving here and there, as you know. But happens that today is my birthday, so the week has
Congratulations. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy
Thank you so
birthday.
much. So I'm now at another level in life. But the worrying part is the nature of work we do that can't make you safe as young as I am. Maybe we hope we shall be there. I'm happy to meet these colleagues here. And it's good that my good friend Major has told me the classmate of Mr. Judge Baguma. I think we shall discuss after the show. Thank you so much.
We were together last Thursday.
Yes.
Last Thursday we were on the front line.
Yeah, but I didn't know you were a classmate of Mr. Judge.
So you can send him.
So we shall discuss after
Because of
the
what is
show.
in the news or because it's in the office?
We shall discuss it
Okay.
later. But
Thank
thank you. Yeah, I hope we shall have a good discussion. introduction.
Oh, okay, thank you so much. Honorable Charles Kazooba, you're welcome. How's life outside there? What has been news to you? What are the shockers that have been in the past days?
Well, me these days, I think I'm even catching some kind of heart attack or something.
Mm.
My heart keeps pumping because of what is happening in the country. I've been asking myself, we had a mass exodus of young people who left the country in 2021. And our argument, me inclusive, was that they were going for greener pastures, but took advantage of the violent elections to justify their exit from Uganda.
Mm.
Now I'm seeing a new trend, a new phase of exit, but this one, it is the elites. People who are already financially stable. So I've been asking myself, what is happening? Is it true that the situation is terrible in this country, that people have to go out of the country? Because I interact with some refugees in this country, Sudanese, those that have come from DRC, elites. One will tell you I was a lecturer, senior lecturer at some university in DRC. But you look at the way the person is struggling and you really sympathize with them. So when I picture our people, somebody like Honorable Semud tells you, if it means selling my property or abandoning my property, so be it, but I'm not coming. And that has been bothering me, because at my age, at 46 years of age, if you don't seem concerned by such issues, then you are inhuman. Because the feeling is that our country is prospering, it is peaceful. But the question is, why are these people, the elite and the financially stable, why are they running out of this country? I don't think they want to go and make money abroad. They already have properties here. They are old people. Life there is not easy. There is a lady called Jolomuch. She was a noob. I knew her personally because I used to interact with them in Mbarara. One time she went abroad, not because of politics, to do chain. And things failed. She came back lamenting, said, I will never go back.
And died.
So even when she entered this activism, political activism, because she was always close to Mateni, I think she feared going back because she had tested what is there. Now, these people, what kind of lifestyle are they living out there? We should be concerned as a country. And that is why I think we have to come together and forge a way forward, because we are all human beings. We are all Ugandans. Uganda wasn't created for a few people. It is for all of us. And we can fit. By around 2050, we might have reached about 80 million or something. So at that time, what will it be? If the 45 can't fit in this country, we should think seriously about it and find solutions. Yes.
As someone who is aspiring for EALA, what are those new ideas you want to bring on table such that they can be considered, maybe overcome some of these challenges we're seeing in some East African countries?
The environment is in Uganda is not in isolation. Even when you look at the countries surrounding us, the environment in those countries, it's not comfortable for the young people, and it's because I've been thinking this concept of human rights. Why is it that some people are failing to appreciate the freedoms that we discuss? They are just on paper. Or one of the reasons could be ideological, because some of our leaders, especially President Museveni, came from the socialist camp, and they did not really appreciate the concept of civil and political rights. For them, they look at the social, economic, and development rights. That is the concept they understand. That's what the Russians also understand, the Chinese and others. So ideologically, that also is a problem. But also our armed forces, they have not been trained enough to appreciate the concept of human rights. The training stops at the mid-level command. But these commanders are not the ones arresting people. They are not the ones pulling people from their houses. No. These other guys don't understand what we are talking about when you say.
But it is reported that they get commands from higher authority. From
yes,
the people
but the level of appreciation is very, very low. If today President Museveni told Awich, Major Awich here, Honorable, and said, you go, if he says you go, make sure the people in Kazooba that are becoming troublesome, make sure that they are all cleared. If it means killing, you kill. He will not do it. But you send somebody who doesn't understand what is happening, they will do it within 2 hours. Because for them it is to please the master. Now that is the problem. That majority of the people in the armed forces have not yet appreciated the concept of human rights. And it is still a challenge, not just here, but all over Africa. One time I conducted research all over the region. By the way, what we are seeing here, this is just a part. If you read what is happening in countries just surrounding us, you will not believe it. You think they are animals. That people kill you in broad daylight and nobody is going to be held accountable. Killing is just a normal. Just for you disagreeing with the state or government. Here at least you can run to court and you argue and disagree with justice.
You prolong the
but
death.
in other countries,
you just prolong. There are some people that you just go there.
Two things
are
not there,
but you don't stop. What is like
you know that, for instance, my views, what I've just spoken, in some countries surrounding us, even if you're out of the country, they will eliminate you. So we also have to weigh and see how far we've come, what do we want to achieve, but how can we achieve it better? Because President Museveni sent children to school through UPE and USE. People have now gone to school, they have studied, they're exposed. They compare situations here to those in Germany, to those in the US, to what is happening in Japan and other countries. So the standards have gone up. Now the authorities must recognize that fact, that the people, the young people here are demanding higher standards. So you can't lower the standards. The problem was you. Why did you send them to school? You should have left them illiterate, and they wouldn't even be asking why you are beating them up. But now, even your own woman, for instance, I can't just slap my own woman in the house. She will just walk out, and in fact put me in custody.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much. That is Honorable Kazooba for you. And we are trying to delve deeper into our tonight's topical discussion. We are taking a look at the human rights level in this country. We are taking a look at the commitment of this very government towards having that respect for human rights. And we also want to raise some of the issues to the stakeholders here on this panel. What can be done? What are the areas of improvement? And I will now go straight to Honorable Awich Pollar, but we shall start with this very story that has been hitting headlines all over regarding the UPDF deployment in Gaza. Many people have been questioning why this is happening, and I'll start with you, Honorable Awich, as someone who understands maybe this field of the army better than us. What do you think is the motive behind this? Why is the government seeming very interested? Is it about peacekeeping, or you could have other reasons as the government?
Oh, did you say I understand better than any of us? Kazooba has been dealing with security for a long time. I've seen him organizing high-level conferences and meetings. I believe he has learned a lot about security, so I wouldn't want to claim to know better than Kazooba. Of course, I've been fighting, I've done professional training, I've done Tanzanian officers training, the cadet, which is believed to be the best training in African infantry for cadet. Because it is a combination of British and Chinese. It's hard. So it is taken as a very hard one. For example, the Tanzanian cadet believes in the philosophy that you must do it. Other cadets like Canada or even UK will make you compete in what you're doing, like push-ups. Kunyangumi, the British cadet will want a winner who will be given a packet of biscuit or a crate of soda. But the Tanzanian, you will do it whether you want it or not. So there's no question of competing to win a crate of, no way. You will do it. Come on, attack atutaki. So I am really well exposed in the army. Now, about the question, again, the other aspect is that I'm also deeply engraved in the UN system. Because to understand this deployment, you need a knowledge of UN and you need a knowledge of the military. Because it is emanating from Resolution 2803 of the Security Council. The UN Security Council is the body of UN that can veto anything. It can say no. There are 5 permanent members of the Security Council. If one of them says no, the motion dies. Now, in the case of what is taking Uganda to Palestine, is that UN Security Council okayed it. Therefore, Uganda can say, we are implementing a consensus of the world. So whoever was against should have said no. And it doesn't even matter whether it's physically there. For example, if Iran wanted to say no, they could talk to Russia, they could talk to China. Then China would go and say no. Doesn't need Iran to be there. And therefore, the votes in the Security Council, out of 15, there are 13 votes in favor of this motion and 0 against. Although China and Russia did not, they abstain. And abstention in this case means they supported it, because if they didn't,
They support the resolution.
if they didn't want it, You see, I have been there. You just find a table written in Uganda, like at the time when Rakwana Rugunda was there and Uganda was a member of Security Council. So it is written Uganda, and it doesn't need the ambassador. An officer from the embassy, first secretary, second or third secretary, or somebody from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs will just go and sit at the table and wait for the vote and say no. So, likewise, and China has the biggest delegation in New York. It is the biggest embassy. So, the fact that they can decide to abstain means they were supporting it, because they would have said no. So, Uganda therefore feels this conviction that we are implementing what the world agreed, a global social consensus. Because if the world didn't, why didn't you veto it? Because saying no by China would die. Two is that the mission there in Palestine is implementation of an agreement between Palestine and Israel. And the agreement is that they are going to have a technocratic government. Technocratic government here means a government which is just technical, like engineers, or to build the area or to rebuild the area. And therefore, if you call Uganda that Waswa and Kato were fighting, and Waswa and Kato agreed, you come, now we have agreed to implement this, you come. Should Waswa and Kato start fighting again, I walk away. Because we have the consensus at the global level and we have the implementation at the national level. And that is why Israel's cabinet allowed the entering of the foreign troops. Normally, Israel doesn't allow people in their country. Come on, Bishop Dosman Tutu was a highly respected person in the world, and he would always be picked by UN, like a Secretary General representative on this. Secretary General would send. But one time, Secretary General sent Bishop Tutu to Israel. They refused him entry. Now, by the time Israel allows troops in, it means it is their consensus. And therefore, Uganda goes in because the President Trump personally consulted Museveni. Remember, the resolution is on what is called the Board of Peace. The Board of Peace is supposed to be a body that is reconstructing Palestine to a tune of 83 billion. Whether they have got the money or not, that is their business. It's supposed to be the biggest reconstruction ever done recently. Because even after Second World War, there was what was called the Marshall Plan. Marshall Plan was to build Japan and build Germany, because these countries were bombed nearly to the ground. To date, Germany is still wondering why America even had to go to finish a whole city, even when Germany was seen as defeated. They are wondering whether they just wanted to test their bomb or what. But just to mention that Germany was destroyed and Japan was destroyed. And as you know, they are now Germany is the biggest economy in Europe. Japan is the third biggest economy in the world. So after the war, they did what was called Marshall Plan by America. So this is the Board of Peace again, which America is trying. It is an American, mainly the brain of Trump, but the world said it's okay. If you want to build, you build. Therefore, Uganda's role here is one to say the world has recognized us, because in this high-level global intercourse, if they can pick your army, so be it. And of course, they will be paid. Our soldiers will be paid. But the fact that we are enforcing what was agreed between Kato and Waswa makes us safe. If Kato and Waswa starts fighting, that Israel and Palestine, we walk away. Because you called us that you have an agreement. You called us that we should come here to be an arbiter between you as you develop. Why are you fighting? We're not ready for your fire. Although I'm now seeing, I don't know whether to go by media stories, that Israel is rejecting a 15 plan proposal. Now, we are watching as a country. If we find the 15 plan is not in consonance with the resolution of General Assembly and the Security Council and what we had originally understood, it is not yet late. It is just yet a commitment. We haven't zeroed down to the specifics, amount of troops. Okay, we are talked to 500, the amount of troops, the terms, the nitty-gritty, the terms of engagement is not yet worked out. So we are yet to see. But to answer your question in brief is that Uganda has gone in this as a show of appreciation that the international world appreciates us. But we are live and cognizant of the genesis in Security Council and what is on the ground in Palestine.
Considering the risk we are taking, is it worth it as a nation to just send our
Which
sons and
risk?
daughters?
I've already said Kato and Waswa have agreed.
But
once Kato and Waswa exposes us to risk, we leave.
But Honorable Awich, it's
Yes.
been reported that it is very likely for Ugandan troops to be on the side of the United States and Israel, which the Hamas in Gaza could not tolerate, and this risks the lives of our troops there. So don't you see any risk there?
That is the report.
Yes, but regarding
Is
that,
it-
in
is
case
it correct?
in case it is like
Is
that,
it? No, if it is like that, it risks our troops. If we go and become partition, it risks. But we know that we are called, as the force is called stabilization force, and we know our terms and we know the terms of engagement. If we do that, as you're saying, as your fears or the rumors are, we risk our troops, of course. And I don't think that is the line we would want to take.
but still, when you look at all the UN member states, don't you question why Uganda? Is it because we are maybe too empowered militarily? Is it that our force is the strongest out of all the UN member states? Or is it because our leaders are not thinking about the lives of the common Ugandans and the troops that they are
I
sending?
think that one is just because of our history. Because our history has proved that we have gone to such testing situations and we have survived. For example, America tried a Somali. They tried Somalia. American troops were killed and even dragged on the street of Mogadishu. The dead bodies were dragged on the street of Mogadishu. America pulled out, but we went and stabilized the place up to now. So part of why we are called in because of the experience in a negotiating dynamics in a hostile situation. We are known to be hard, we are known to be disciplined, we are known to have survived in hostile situations. So our history brings us in.
But when you look at the Hamas, they are very empowered when it comes to technology. They could not even compete with us. They could defeat us when
What
it comes
have
to
they
technology.
agreed on? If what they have agreed on exposes us, then we want to continue with the mission.
Okay.
We are implementing what Palestine and Israel agreed. Now, if the agreement exposes Ugandans to danger, it's not hard and frozen. We won't die there because even when we see that the conditions on the ground doesn't permit us to be there.
All right. Thank you, Honorable Awich. Council Kakuru, what do you see in this plan to take the UPDF to Gaza?
Well, thank you so much. I don't agree with the decision in the first place of allowing Ugandan troops to go to Gaza. Because in Uganda, we are not at the best, we are not at peace. As my colleague, the Honorable, was talking, he talked about the people who are running away because it is not safe here. So it would be better for the military to first neutralize itself here in the country and maybe look at the ways of how better we can use the military and not taking them. Because by taking them to Gaza, we are exposing them to more risk. Because even the ones that were in Somalia, I remember at some point when they were attacked and many of them were shot and killed. Those risks could be seen and overcome if we are calculative. What relevance are our troops to the Israeli Gaza war to start with? Like, what are we benefiting by sending our troops there?
World peace.
But we have Israel having its neighbors around. I don't know how many kilometers it is from here to Israel and Gaza. For all the people, for all the nations, for all the military, they have just picked you from Uganda.
Honorable Awich has said that is because of our good history.
There's no good history because what history are you talking about? The good one. of people disappearing or people.
We defeated the Al Shabaab in Somalia,
So is Somalia now the safest?
but by then,
And we
even
still have
Mogadishu was
we still
under.
have our military there, so it means it is not safe. How many
But with
years
positive
now?
results, probably.
Like what? Have you been
Like-
to Somalia yourself to
By-
see what is there?
Okay, you can continue.
So it is hard.
Mm.
Even when they go there because they want money.
Mm.
Remember, there was a saga of the amount of money that was being paid to those soldiers in Somalia being reduced by the people. So it is more of the business that people are looking into, especially the army people are looking into it as a business that they will get an amount and they reduce it double or thrice. The reason I do not wish even the army had to go there in that capacity is, as the Major has been saying, if they have agreed, let them agree. Do we need to go there after their agreement? Were we part of the agreement in the first place? No. So let us go and leave them. If they have agreed to resolve their matters through peace-making processes, then what are the army getting involved in for? Shouldn't we have thought of now social workers and those people can rehabilitate the Gaza people? Do we need to look at the military that will come with guns again? Are they now comforting or discomforting them more? The whole discussion is about if we are actually into peace, it should not be with military. It should be with people who can sit down, the two sides, and talk to them, motivate those who are weak, empower them, and then you see how to harmonize. But when you go there, you start shooting at each other, as you say you are promoting peace or what. To me, it does not add up. Maybe at the employment part, you may look at the employment of those people that have gone as the soldiers. But can't we do something? Okay, if we're at peace here in Uganda, can't we organize them into other productive areas? For example, farming. Motivate the army to go into farming. If there is nothing that they are busy doing, motivate them to go into many jobs are giving an example. So that we can even make use of them more than what we believe they can head wide in the Gaza. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. To you, Honorable Kazooba, what do you make of this very issue? The UPDF being deployed into Gaza, many saying that it is a very huge risk Uganda shouldn't be taking.
I'm a scholar of international relations, and recently I was, in addition, trained by Americans on foreign policy analysis. So I'm approaching this matter from the perspective of international relations. The world is changing. Liberalism is dying. Liberalism meaning democracy, freedoms, these concepts of civil and political rights. Those things are dying. That's why you see even states, the global powers are no longer funding civil society organizations. They are focusing on business. So America no longer cares about a country's rights. It cares about how much money they get from that country, how much wealth they get from that country to benefit their people. So that's the situation of the world. Realism is bouncing back. Realism meaning that the international system is rough. So each state keeps accumulating power to survive. And that is why, of late, there is what we are calling the multi-alignment. You ally with a number of states if you are weak to be able to survive. Because the international system is rough, it will crush you, you will not survive it.
So you need someone who's powerful.
So you
be by
need
your
to
side.
ally with the powerful. And you have to calculate very careful that what our interests as Uganda. We have our oil, we need to sell it on the world market. We want jobs, we want to sell our commodities, processed commodities, but we also need investors. Who is likely to bring us that money? If, for instance, it is Dubai, who is Dubai allying with? It is the West. So you must calculate very, very carefully. Now, when you're a president like President Museveni, and you get a call from President Trump, you have to think twice before you reject that offer. Why? The US is already here in DRC. And they are very, very serious regarding their interest in DRC because the minerals in DRC are supposed to sustain their military industries. Actually, I'm being told we have, there is a discovery of similar minerals here. Now, you have to be very careful. If you do not allow the US, or if you try to work to undermine the interests of the US or of the West. So what do you do? In the past, we had what we call, it was very vibrant during the 40s, 50s, the non-alignment. But these days, when you look at the group of non-alignment, most of these countries have created, or they have entered into alliance with some global powers. So the non-alignment has since collapsed. Although the people can still meet, countries still meet. So our foreign policy as a country, for now, I think we are shifting from neutrality to pro-West, because the West now answers most of our interests. We have a problem in DRC. It means if we do not work with the US in DRC, we have problems. You've just seen what has happened to Rwanda. The army has been sanctioned by the US. It is being incapacitated. You don't know what it means by being sanctioned. If Rwanda cannot be trained, they can't receive any money from through whatever bank. Even their refinery has been sanctioned. In the next 10 years, Rwanda's military is going to be very, very weak. Now, who props up the regional stability? The only viable army is UPDF. Now, UPDF cannot reject US's offer. Scratch my back, I scratch your back. It means by UPDF getting deployed in Gaza, it does not just stop at deployment. Their training is going to improve. A lot of equipment will be transferred through that relationship. The issue of our people going to hostile environments, I want to assure Ugandans and others that we shall not avoid it. South Sudan has not deployed anywhere. Are they living comfortably? Do you know how many soldiers are being killed day in, day out? They are killing themselves. Nobody is killing them. They are slaughtering themselves.
Due to internal
Isn't
conflicts.
that a hostile environment?
Mm.
So we should look at the bigger picture. Beyond the deployment, you are going to see Uganda as a state get more international deals doing with the business. AGOA did not just come. We sent our boys here to Iraq. Some were injured, actually. This gentleman of Pinnacle, he was my friend, Moses Masco. That guy went to Iraq and Afghanistan. He was bombed beyond recognition. They flew him to US, reconstructed him, and brought him back with compensation. That's how he starts his business, Pinnacle Security. So, whether we like it or not, the global system is so fractured today that you need alliances. We cannot ally with the East alone. The East, like China, can only help us in terms of loans, infrastructure development, and others. But if you need a voice in the international system, you must attach yourself to the West, whether you like it or not.
But are we paying expensively for that in order to have a voice on that international level? Are we not paying so expensively to just send our people there to fight?
It will even be worse by not going.
So it is worth it.
It will be worse. I've just told you the Rwandan army has been sanctioned and it's going to be incapacitated. In the next 10 years, if the situation does not improve, they may not be able to defend the country against external threats. So it's not as simple as that. You must think twice when you are making decisions. You just have to get rid of emotions, because realism in the international system, it is survival for the fittest.
So it is worth it to send our troops there.
Exactly. They need 20,000 soldiers. In fact, me, I was proposing if we could send as many as 10,000. Yes, they need, and I'm told Indonesia wants to provide 8,000. But Ugandans here, we have enough men in boots. We could send as many as 10,000, so that we become a regional force, a force you don't just threaten. In the Great Lakes, we must be able, as UPDF, to stabilize the entire region. But to do that, you need to be empowered. And you can't be empowered minus you denying friendship to the global powers.
But just assume your son is being sent to fight in Gaza.
Yes.
Would you feel comfortable and happy that he's going to maybe fight for the region, as you're saying, that maybe the positive results that will come out later will soothe your soul? Would you be proud that your son is going to fight on behalf?
Do you know how many people have been killed by border borders here in Kampala? So many. And it's not worth it. So please, let's not attach death to these important international decisions. People will have to die whether you like it or not. You will die even minus going to Gaza. I've just told you, if we keep rejecting these relationships with the global powers, we shall end up isolating ourselves. Look at South Africa today. It's becoming a shadow of its former self. I can assure you, in the next 5 years, if South Africa does not change its attitude to the international system, Egypt will rise and South Africa will fall. That one I can assure you. So you must be very, very careful how you deal with the West. They have the resources, they have the determination, and they are still in charge of the world. So whether you like it or not, they are still in charge.
Should we say that our leaders in Africa are just asleep? Because if all these leaders of the entire continent united themselves, wouldn't they form a very strong force that would defend Africa and even
What
empower
force?
themselves economically?
What force?
Do we still have to rely? Should we just be comfortable as Africa that we should always rely on the West?
Let me tell you something. We are very weak as Africa. Very, very weak. As long as you still have the World Bank dictate terms how you manage your budget. You have IMF that imposes on you loans. You have multinational companies that run your economies. There's nothing you're going to say in the international system that you do what?
So we just elect leaders to be in office, not to help us.
These leaders are being realistic. Even if it is you, if you were sent in that office today, what you are saying will change. You will find the reality.
But President Museveni has been talking about that Africa can be dependent, it can depend on itself, that we don't have to depend on the West, that they have been doing everything possible to make sure African economy is strong, so that they can rely on themselves, not outside. Is this just a slogan and they are just words, they can't be achieved?
President Museveni has been pushing for partnerships.
Maybe you reduce on your dialogue and we also join you.
Let him
really
conclude
cool.
because we are
Let
going
me
for a short
conclude.
break.
Hold on your bilateral.
President Museveni has been pushing for partnerships, and which I also agree with, that time has come as Africa as a bloc, we speak with one voice and be able to engage the Americans on equal footing. But we are not yet there. We are not yet there. It will take time. It will take time. We can still push and push and push. Maybe at some point things will work out. But as of now, we need that alliance with the West.
Okay, thank you so much. I've given you much time because you told us you're an expert there. Honorable Awich, you can maybe comment on what I said before we go for a break.
I have 3 issues to raise. One is a quick one that about the risk exposure. I told you that this idea is still at its preliminary stage. Meaning, therefore, there is going to be training, and training involves the equipments that you're going to be using. And also that the people who are inviting us has the equipments to be used. And therefore, about exposure to risk, you don't expect a UPDF to be there on the foot and with the AK. The training and the armaments will be very appropriate to the situation. So that maybe could reduce the issue of risk, both in terms of training and in terms of the equipment that those who are inviting us will provide. So that is one thing I wanted to say. The other thing is Kazooba's point about the lack of sovereignty. I find it a little risky if we take that line, and I don't think government would like to poster that thing, that we are here as a government and we just hear an order from abroad, the world is like that, we have to submit to them. I don't think it is a very viable poster. No government would want to poster, even if we were to have relationships with power that big. Uganda is a sovereign state. We take decisions in the best of our interest. If it doesn't suit our interest, we reject it. And that is the position we take it. And as I said earlier, we are taking it as a national interest because we find it is a consensus of the world agreed on it, and we also find that the antagonists on the ground are welcoming us. So we cannot say that governments in Africa or Uganda government for that case is useless and therefore hears from the West.
We are accepting because we have nothing else to do.
I find it a very risky argument.
All right.
And then, no, the last one is also that about the life. It's not in any military philosophy that you said, yes, we are going there to die. We know there are risk of death, but even one life matters. So again, and it's another risky argument to say, let's not think about death. We can go and die, and people should go and die. I don't think so. And you have seen America even withdrawing, even when they suspect that one life will be lost. So the lives of our sons and daughters who will go is very paramount, and would guard even a single life. And if it exposes any Ugandan to risk, it will be taken care of. And even a mere death can bring the collapse of the operation. So I also want to say that it's a rather risky argument to say that because if you say we don't care about death, suppose you take the 10,000 you want and all the 10,000 die. You said, oh no, we don't care about death.
We
Let
need
them
more
die,
10,000.
and life is like that. People die. So those two arguments are risky. The lack of sovereignty and the non-care about death. I still insist we're a sovereign country. We are taking this because of the consensus in General Assembly, Security Council, and the agreement on the ground. Now, if it doesn't match our interests, we shall leave it.
All right. Thank you so much. We are taking a very short break, and when we do return, we resume the conversation.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Hey Teddy, have you noticed how little attention science and health issues get in the media?
Totally. Edgar, yet science information is very important.
Yeah, for sure. That's why the Health Journalists Network is here.
How can they help?
They are a group of journalists dedicated to advancing public understanding of healthcare issues through impactful reporting on health and science.
Oh, really?
Yes, they meet up every month with scientists and researchers, policymakers, and activists at the science media cafes. They then relay what they discuss to the public.
Does that benefit us?
Oh yes, very much so. This helps with health and science literacy for a healthy Ugandan society.
Okay. I love getting informed about science and health issues. Health information makes all the difference between life and death. I'll look them up and engage them.
That's great. They are based all over the country.
Oh, okay. That's interesting, and they should be making real impact.
They are empowering health communities through journalism. Journalists can save lives just like doctors.
Hi, Rogers. Can I ask you something?
Shoot.
What does corruption mean?
Well, summarily, corruption is abuse of public power for personal gain or for the benefit of a group to which one owes allegiance. For example, when a public office is abused by an official accepting or soliciting a bribe. By the way, private people can be corrupt too, like bribing police officers to escape fines.
Okay. So exactly how does that concern me?
Well, do you pay taxes?
I guess, yeah. What does that have to do with this?
Everything. Because those taxes you pay are supposed to facilitate services you use, like water, electricity, roads construction, medicines in hospitals, name it.
Okay, that is much bigger than I thought. But it can be stopped, right?
Well, yes it can, although it may not be as easy as it sounds. And here is the reason why. Corruption roots are grounded in our country's social, political, economic, bureaucratic traditions and policies.
So, what has kept it going this long? I mean, why don't we stop it?
Well, the main reason why it has been here for so long is because institutions are weak, either as a result of poorly defined ethical standards of public service, weak administrative and financial systems, or ineffective watchdog agencies.
What can we do to stop it?
At a national level, we must focus on strengthening the independence and effectiveness of public institutions that fight corruption. At a personal level, we must commit to never giving a bribe.
I promise I'll never give a bribe.
Well, that's a great decision you have made. Me and you now have to spread this message to all our friends. If we all do our part, corruption will be normal.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digital. The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
All right, welcome back from that short break, and we are resuming our conversation this evening. Someone asked Honorable Awich regarding the issue of the UPDF deployment in Gaza and was asking whether we are using now the UPDF as mercenaries, that they are no longer Uganda People's Defense Forces, but we are just giving them for hire, just like mercenaries. How would you respond to that?
We're not giving them for hire, because in this case, who is hiring? Is it Trump? Is it Israel's prime minister? No, this is a national engagement authorized by General Security Council. So if we are to be a mercenary, mercenaries don't pass through resolution of Security Council. Mercenaries has person-to-person dealings, and you find yourself in Congo, in Israel, whatever it is. So it is not true. These are international, high-level and state engagement with a mandate given by Security Council. Mercenaries don't get mandates from Security Council.
All right. Thank you. Now let's delve deeper into our tonight's discussion, but we are starting it with Honorable Rara Otunu's endorsement. Some people have been saying that Uganda does not stand well when it comes to respect for human rights and rule of law, that this is a very negative impact on Honorable Rara Otunu's success. Now we want to start from there to continue with you, Honorable Awich. Regarding Honorable Rara Otunu, does he stand a chance to head the United Nations?
Yes, Olara stands a very high chance. Of course, as people said, they could be making assessment on Olara as a person, an assessment on Uganda as a country. Now, on the assessment of Uganda as a country, there are modalities of assessing Uganda. You don't assess Uganda on case-by-case basis. The easiest way a state like Norway would assess Uganda, or Denmark would assess Uganda, is by looking at the human rights records, because every country or countries which have countries in the world are supposed to ratify international instruments. So first they will check, as Uganda ratified, that one you tick the box. The second would be, do they report? Because there's obligation to report on your compliance. They'll check Uganda report, they'll tick that box. Then we'll go to what are the reports that come from there. Because when Uganda appear there, there's a ruling, a judgment, which is called concluding recommendations. Those are a UN ruling on a particular human rights position, like a human rights treaty. And by the way, that is the body I was in UN for 8 years. More like a judge of the world. You are judging Uganda. Now, the recommendations those judges make are called concluding observations. So Denmark or Norway will check that. What do they say about Uganda? And that one is not bad, it is good. Then they will, of course, check institutional frameworks in Uganda. You have a parliament, you have courts, you have this, you have that. They will score. So it's not doing bad. So Uganda is not doing bad. Now, when you come to the person of Otunu, I was telling a friend, if he contests as Secretary General, and which is contesting, is more or less like an incumbent. You know the advantages incumbents have. Otunu knows the dynamics of UN than any of the candidates, because Otunu has been the Under-Secretary General of the Secretary General. He has been the Under-Secretary General and Special Representative of Secretary General on Children and Armed Conflict. It is only Otunu who combined two positions. When Otunu left, they split it into two. The other one went apart with another person, another one. In other words, the undersecretary is now another person. Special representative of children and armed conflict is another person. But Otuno held 2 positions. So Otuno is the only candidate that knows the dynamics of UN. So it's more or less like an incumbent campaigning to retain his seat. Now, there was a straw poll done. Straw poll is a poll which shows rudimentary what is the support, yes or no, and Otuno scored badly. But I must say that this report was done instantly because the other candidates were at active positions, like the man of atomic energy. He was active, he was meeting people, he was visible in the media. Otuno was in Muchwene, in Kidgum. So you don't expect somebody from Muchwene today and say do opinion poll when he's completely in the village in Muchwene. Meaning, therefore, set to action and you give some time, Otuno can shoot up because he is the only one who can talk to voters in the real UN language. I must tell you, I did campaign in New York twice and won. But the way I campaigned a second time is not the way I campaigned the first time. The first time I really talked what was from my mutima, but that was not I was only lucky that I had the other strong points to win. Therefore, the second time that I went, I could speak the language and it was very easy. In fact, the first time I won on second round. The first time I won first round because we were voting 9 persons, 9 judges, and there's a threshold you have to get for you to win. So they will get the first 4 who have made the threshold, the others you go back in the field. The first winning, I did remember 192 countries, secret ballot, where they carry a box or a bag and they go to one ambassador to another because ambassadors sit alphabetically. They keep dropping. Therefore, Uganda's record, the assessment is not a case by case. For example, that you could hear from Bobby Wine. For example, that you could hear from Semu Uganda. Or you could hear their institutional frameworks. States assess states. And those are institutional frameworks. States would want to know. They know that there are challenges in every country. For example, they want to know, do you have a law in place to do that? Because you're not going to address beating or kicking people on the street as you arrest Sergeant Okwel, you arrest Sergeant Tumusiime, or you beat or you do what. They would want to know what are the laws that you have. For example, they will ask, does Uganda have Human Rights Enforcement Act? He said, yeah, there's Human Rights Enforcement Act. What does it say? It says any soldier or police who does something wrong will be personally liable. It will not raise the defense of Attorney General. In the past, if an officer comes to do operation, he breaks your leg, you sue him, he said, sue Attorney General. It is not my work. So this is how states are assessed. So the fear that Uganda would be assessed to work against Otuno doesn't arise. And in any case, even the opposition believe Uganda has the best laws in Uganda around. They said it is implementation.
Are those laws respected?
They said it is implementation. But that's why I'm saying it works in favor of Otuno because states are not assessed on case by case. Case by case would mean implementation. But they want to see the institutional frameworks. And that is when it will be the checklist. The checklist.
All
and
right.
so Otuno has a chance.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Kakuru, does Otuno stand a chance for you? If yes, maybe because of his personal qualifications, does our country stand a chance to front someone? If they are to base on what we have in this country, how we are standing in terms of respect for human rights, do we even stand a chance to front a candidate that would turn out to be successful in the race?
Well, I don't think I have a personal issue with the person of Olala Otuno. I don't have any, and I would wish him well where he's going. The first thing is, why is Otuno coming in the picture at this moment? When in his youthful age, he was denied the same chance. Why is he now coming into the picture at a time when everyone is calling upon the government to respect human rights, when abductions are coming in and going, a lot of things are happening that do not reflect the best of human rights. I would agree with my colleague here that it's true. The laws in Uganda are good. And the problem is how they are implemented, how they are applied. It becomes a challenge. But Otun goes to the UN at a rate where many people, politicians, are running from Uganda for safety. That is the time when Otun is going to the UN. I would reserve myself for that, but we wish him well. Maybe what we can look at is what is Otun going to bring on the table for UN. Otun has a lot of vast experience in many ways. So I believe with that he can add something. Maybe if he goes there and wins, maybe he can turn around and remember us as Uganda, and he advises on how we can change some things and move forward.
Regarding the state of human rights in this country, because many people have been pointing towards that the level of abuse of human rights in this country is at the worst percentage, that it's very high. In your own view, how would you describe the state of human rights in this country?
Well, the state of human rights is, I may say it is that it's evening. Maybe it's about sleep forever. Because I'm one of the lawyers who has been working so hard representing people in courts, especially the people they think are against them. But there are people who are merely trying to change things. They are the alternatives, they are not enemies. So I've represented many of them in courts. What we go through every day is hard for someone to believe that there are people now they cannot grant bail, even when the judge or a magistrate says that the applicant has proved the right to apply for bail. He has brought to his proof of residency, he has sureties, everything he has proved. But however, they put that last paragraph of however, I'm inclined to deny the bail for security purposes. And then you just wonder, if the security people themselves are fearing security, then who is doing what for anything better? But the state is not okay. We keep pushing for some change, maybe respect of human rights. You remember now the last one is my colleague Chiza Aaron, who is on a run because he's being sued, and the former prisoner from the court martial. So it becomes hard for us to, even now that the professionals have been attacked in their profession, from the activists to the politicians, now to the professionals. So it is not clear, and we are not safe in that way.
Thank you. Honorable Kazooba, if we were to consider the respect for human rights in this country, would we stand a chance regarding what's happening in this country to front a candidate that would go through, like Honorable Raroton now, for instance?
When counsel here was speaking, in my mind I was asking myself, this work this man has been doing for all this time, is it not causing him trauma? Because even doctors at times they run mad because of the cases they are handling. And my brother here really needs to take it into consideration, because it is not easy.
Regarding the environment.
The environment, not just You know, we are born differently. There are those who don't fear naturally. You will hear thieves loitering outside the house. You just get out, even without holding a panga to protect yourself. There's that category of people. They are naturally like that. Eh? So it is like him. You may think he's intimidated, yet he's not. But like I've told you, what we are going through is a very serious matter. People's lives are at stake. When you listen to the stories these people tell you, it's just terrible. I think we are radicalizing our society, which is bad. We shouldn't, because the end result won't be good for any of us. It won't. It is very much. I have a friend. He had never gone to prison. So one time they concoct charges and they send him to jail for about 6 months. The man gets out. I tell him, friend, how is it? He says, actually now, I'm more confident than in the past. I used to fear prison, but I think I don't fear anything else now. So I can do whatever I have to do. Now that is terrible. It is terrible. When you hear these guys that started the Islamic State, this man of ADF and others, it is because they went through very, very harsh conditions and they became radicalized. Now, dealing with an extremist, a radical person, is not easy. It is also very, very bad for a country. Actually, it causes instability. So we have to be very, very careful with what is happening. We are not curing anything by how the state is conducting itself. And unfortunately, there are rogue elements who are taking an advantage. Somebody is in security because he has a grudge against you. He takes advantage of what is happening. They torture you. They torture you badly. They even confiscate your property. Now, that kind of behavior is not acceptable. It is not. Our chance at the UN, first of all, and I don't know, Honorable Awich, as government really, was it the initiative of Dr. Lara Autun or you approached him? Because if the state really wanted this man as Secretary General, the entire media in Africa would be talking about Dr. Lara Autun as a bloc candidate. It means we must have had serious marketing strategies. We should have invested a lot of resources to propel this man, put him in that office. Because it is not just putting him in that office. As Africans, we've been demanding seats on the Security Council, that we need at least 2. This is an opportunity. If as a regional bloc, as African Union, we should have pushed this man that this is our candidate as Africans. Whether you like it or not, this is our opportunity. We want him as Secretary General. And this is a list of our demands. This is a list of our reforms we want with the UN. After all, by the UN is weakening. Most of us now are no longer taking it very, very seriously. But it would be the time for us as Africans to take charge, rebuild it, and make it stronger than it has been in the few years. Yes.
You've talked about the situation in the country, and you've said that the situation is very worse, especially now regarding the state of fear that is in the country, the abuse of human rights. Who do you think has contributed towards this stage where we are now? Is it the citizens who have kept quiet when everything is happening? Are they the leaders we have elected into these offices? Who is to blame regarding the rate of human rights abuses in the country?
I think all of us, because if Honorable Awich gets a problem and they just look the other way, then I'm inhuman. We are losing that bond as a human race. It is every man for himself.
You don't care about others.
You don't. By the way, these days I don't know what is
Let's come
happening.
back.
Do you know that you can have your own brother, but the man is wishing you death? She can even work with some security agents, rogue security agents. They take you, yet he just wants you around. This is what is happening in this country. So everybody is to blame. But also, more importantly, I'm getting worried. Is Honorable Awich in charge of this country? I don't know, because they are also complaining. Even the president is lamenting, saying what is happening.
Right.
He doesn't understand what. It seems there is something that either it is a ghost that has taken charge of the country.
Okay.
And we are
Thank
just
you, Honorable Awich. Do you think, when you look at the level of human rights abuses in this country, how would you describe the situation in this very country regarding the respect for human rights? Are we, would we score average? Would we get an excellent? Is it a good or very poor? How would you rate us when you consider what's happening?
Now, a country with the statecraft, that is managing the state, is always not easy. Why? Because you have the lawful fight for state power through elections. That is a fight, but the lawful fight through campaigns and elections. But you also have unseen hands who are fighting for state power. And that is why there's the law of treason, because there are some people who want to take over state power through other means if they fail the election. And therefore, it makes statecraft and governance not easy. And always, the lack of following the law results into conflict with the law. And therefore, you have the state apparatus. Now, that conflict and operation to resolve that brings disharmony in states, in many countries. And therefore, you cannot have a perfect human rights, because the actors sometimes act either unconsciously or others consciously, and in the process of executing those who are in conflict with law, they end up violating rights. And therefore, if you ask me in that mixed of statecraft and you make me award in percentage terms, I think I can award 80% right and 20% wanting. And that is why the 20% is the part President Museveni has quoted saying, in state agencies, they are wrong people. And this is not the first time President Museveni has cried out. Remember, in police, he told police the police was infested with kaukumi. And I think it tried to settle out police by removing Kalikayura and actually sent to court. So it is not strange and new that President Museveni talks about infections in the state agencies who are supposed to hold statecraft, but in accordance with the law, not violating human rights. And when they do that and they violate, and the president cries, that removes the 20%. Therefore, to be precise to your question, on the whatever of 1 to 100, I would give 80% good and 20% work in progress. So that is the bad. And I can cite the evidence of the 20% is the complaint the president is giving.
But when we see the kind of human rights abuses in the country, where does that 80% come from? When we see like Dr. Besigye now, still behind bars, we saw him actually collapse.
The Besigye goes to the 20%.
What about the new NUP supporters? You're silencing
the 20%.
Silencing
actually,
the opposition.
20%, I must emphasize, are the actors who are supposed to operationalize those in conflict with the law. And the way they do it is the one the president is complaining about the rogues. It is on record that he mentioned. The same way mentioned in the Kaukumi. So all your complaints that you're saying, put it in the 20%.
Where is the 80% then? Because if we are seeing the state of fear in the country, everyone is afraid. When you try to make some reports, when
the
you're
80%
interviewing people, they say we fear to speak.
80% goes in, we successfully conducted elections with the challenges there too. The 80% goes in, the courts are operating all over the country, even in Koboko or in Kisoro or in Kotidu, courts are working. The 80% says that, I mean, security of lives, people can move at night and they are peaceful. This 80% goes in the fact that you can leave Karamoja and go to Kisoro, whether for a conference or a seminar, and when you're talking on phone in Karamojong, nobody cares that who is a Karamojong talking in Kisoro. The 80% goes in the fact that we have schools running, children wake up in the morning, go to school and get holidays. The 80% goes in the fact that we are not in a state of anarchy. There's no state of emergency. This 80% goes to the fact that we don't have a failed state. We are running as a normal country with the normal challenges.
But when we look at what the CDF has been talking about, saying we are going to arrest this one, he is in the basement, that shows that he's working outside the law. He's not following the law. So that is lawlessness in the country. And you're saying we are everything is okay. When you consider that, seeing the CDF of the country being happy, showing pride in torturing people, it is happening in the country. Say you liberated Ugandans from the bad governments and you're doing the same. Do we still stand firmly and say that this government has done the best in respect for human rights?
Well, I haven't, I've not seen any record anywhere that records CDF's violation of human rights. It has to be an official pronouncement, either courts of law or an international reporting, like I told you that the country reports to. But whatever you are saying is people's views, and all of us.
But when we consider the incidents, Honorable Awich, if he says, I'm going to arrest Councillor Kakuru, God forbid, if he says, I'm going to arrest Councillor Kakuru after he has done the show at Alternative TikTok, and it does happen, he says, I'm going to arrest him and take him to Chitaria, maybe here, and you see the pictures coming out, just no one is talking about it.
Normally arrest by state agencies. Even if arrest is carried out by the army or by the police, whoever is arrested, you must show the law that you think he has infringed, the law that you think he has violated. So I imagine all those pronouncements come up later with a preferred charge. But as we said, state apparatus who are acting in statecraft is a work in progress, including training. Kazooba talked about training in human rights, and which not only should be, it is a big commitment, Kazooba, that states commit themselves to train. And not only train, not awareness. There's a difference between awareness and training.
Yes, yes.
Now, when Uganda is reporting to Geneva on the international human rights bodies that it has ratified, do you know that Uganda is expected to carry a copy of the syllabus to adduce to UN and said, we do training, this is the syllabus, we train our officers. It is a requirement at international reporting. You report and prove that you trained the troops and give the UN copy of your syllabus for UN to examine. So, and that's why we keep saying that work in progress, and you know the army is recruiting and retiring, recruiting and retiring. Sometimes the one you have trained is not the one in the theater tomorrow. So it is work in progress. So statecraft is a challenging thing, as I told you, that people are always aspiring to get state-to-state power. The first attempt is through democratic means. Then in second attempt through non-democratic means. And that is what brings state into conflict with the people. And if the state doesn't handle that operation fairly, it results into violations of human rights, or what is perceived as violation of human rights.
We had the UN also come out to condemn the acts of human rights abuses in the country, and you're saying they deserve 80%. But that is your view.
That is the 20%.
When the United Nations comes out
that
to say...
is the 20.
That is the 20.
It is small.
Saying it is alarming.
That is the 20.
All right. Thank you. Council Kakuru, regarding that, do you see any commitment from the government to overcome these challenges or to stop the human rights abuses? Has the government done anything tangible we can look at and say that at least they have put the Human Rights Commission, they have put this, and it is doing in favor of Ugandans?
But you remember the human rights chair recently resigned.
Mm.
And yes, and you remember what she was complaining of is that the people at the commission are just dumped
Some mafias.
Arrest politicians who are just dumped in those offices, so they don't know what to do with human rights. The courts that would be helping much are also bent in one angle of late, so it becomes challenging on seeing what we can do much better to see the state of human rights change. But we have good people like my friend here who can engage with the people that are doing such things, because I don't believe every actions that are done by the security people as they arrest and take you, anywhere, are all sanctioned by the leaders. I don't think. Some of them overuse their powers because they have it against a person they are trying to arrest. But if we have the good friends like this one, who can at least come, yes.
We shall try to do better.
Who come, yes. I mean you, and I mean you, because you are not like the bad people that cannot sit with us and we try to agree on things that we see. Even, okay, you said now you can give 80 and the 20 is the problem. Let us also resolve the 20 by sitting the people in government and telling them to reduce on their force, to understand better how we can engage without there can be engagements. But let the engagements not come out of fighting. You beat me today, and tomorrow you call me to discuss and negotiate. That becomes hard. But if we're told there were mechanisms of engaging without hurting first, it could call for engagements with the leaders, with the people in government, to see that the state of our human rights can change.
All right. Thank you so much. Honorable Kazooba, over to you. Regarding government's commitment towards respect or protection of human rights in the country, do you see any that we can look at and say that at least our government is doing the best?
I did read some time back, I think it was last year. I read Honorable Kiriowa Chiwanuka's report to the AU Commission on People's and Human Rights. And I discovered that it is a big report, but like Honorable Awich says, they show you what government has put in place. What we are complaining about is, from my own observation, it is a contest for power. The young people are saying, please, we want to be in charge. Enough of your lies. You promise drugs that are not there. You promised us this and that. They are not there. But these young people also don't appreciate that it takes time for service delivery to be effective. I want to draw your attention to, for instance, the time when they came from the bush. It took them roughly about 20 years to stabilize the entire country. There were pockets of insurgencies everywhere. So service delivery is just a recent phenomenon. It has just started, just recently. Now, when other people are making arguments, they look at 1986 to date, and they say 40 years you've not delivered. But you deduct the 20 years.
The building phase.
Deduct the 20 years. Because most countries, look at DRC. This man, President Felix Tshisekedi, is going to go out of power without delivering anything. And you can't blame him. The man has been fighting insurgencies you see, some of these problems are very complex. And that is why when you're going to diagnose a situation, you have to be very, very careful.
He's going to tell him blame God.
You have to be very careful. If schools, free education just started in 1990 something, today you have people of UPA. Me, I didn't go to UPA. By the way, I have missed out on all government programs. I've never benefited anything from President Museveni's government.
Security. You benefited from security.
Every time they offer something, I'm not part of it. But there are those who have benefited. Now, the contest for power is becoming very, very stiff. And whether we like it or not, we have to find a solution. If we don't, because now both camps are at the extreme ends. And each is ready to shed blood to make sure that they attain a share. This one says, I'm not losing power. The other says, you have to go. They are young. They have a lot of expectations. They have gone to school.
All right.
They are lacking basic needs. Do you know that today there are so many young men in 30s, 35 to 40 who have no capacity to marry and have children? You call that a joke?
It is.
So every time they are looking at President Museveni celebrating parties with grandchildren, say, no, this man is the one eating our share.
He is,
He should go.
He should go.
So that contest, it is going to go beyond unless interventions are made. We sit down as a country and talk. What is killing us? We have to stop it. Because I was just reading Kazora's book, Betrayed by My Leader. And I just couldn't believe that the Awichis betrayed the man even when they were still beginning to share the cake.
All right. Thank you so much, Honorable. I will be, as we near the conclusion of this show, I will go to you, Honorable Awich. You've heard from your colleagues. They are saying they blame the government somehow that you've not showed any tangible results or you've not done enough to protect people's rights in this country. What is your response?
I have already been stating my response. My response is that a lot has been done in human rights aspect, and you could have many indicators if you wanted. You could have the institutional framework in place. You have mentioned Human Rights Commission yourself. With its challenges. Uganda Human Rights Commission for a long time has been in A class, A plus. You know, under international human rights system of the world, UN takes, there's a department called National Human Rights Institutions, like Uganda Human Rights Commission, and they categorize according to your performance and staffing and all that. So our Uganda Human Rights Commission had been in A class for a long time, especially during the Sekaja and Medikagwa. So we have done the institutional framework. We already talked of laws. Laws are there. We have very robust legal system. For example, I have already given an example of enforcement of Human Rights Act. There's an act of parliament which deals with just enforcing human rights. You have many laws that protect rights, but how do we enforce it? There's an act of parliament. We have talked of laws. So the framework is there. Then you have even the funding itself, that you have to fund this, not only fund this, have them in place, but give them money. And you know, you have to, government has to struggle to ensure courts have money, to ensure that Human Rights Commission have money. You make recruitment in officers of court and all this, and it is done. Now, all those are indicators that it has been done. We have also had many court rulings that abounds. The only thing is that when court rules against, people say there's no human rights protection. But it rules in favor. For example, Human Rights Commission has awarded lots of damages against the state. Even courts of law has awarded lots of damages for people whose rights have been violated. So those rulings are there to abound to show that there's enforcement. But we said that there's still a lot that remains to be done. Because in ideal speaking, we wouldn't even be bothering about the good that has been done. Our eyes still remain on the, like I talked in terms of percentage, the 80, we put it behind us and we still hide the 20. So a lot of things has been done, including court rulings that have been ruled against the state in cases of violations. Attorney General has been made to pay lots of money for violation, both arising from Human Rights Commission ruling and courts of law. Yeah, so these are the dealings that we have done. But also at international perspective, we have basically ratified all conventions. Remember, states are free to ratify conventions or not. And even when you ratify, you are even free to make reservation on particular provisions. A state can even ratify and say, this article, we don't want. For example, most Islamic countries at the beginning, when they ratified conventions, provisions which talk of equality between men and women, many Islamic countries said, this article, leave us out of it. But Uganda is known for having ratified all conventions, and even with no reservations at all, that we're saying we don't agree with this provision, whether equality of women or what, we have done everything, and we keep reporting. So the institutional framework, the laws in place, the institutions that operationalize those laws, the funding of those institutions, government has struggled to get money. The court rulings that have been made, abiding by the court ruling by paying awards. So we have gone a long way.
All right.
We are really in a very good shape.
Thank you,
But
Council.
20% remains. I don't want to forget 20%.
The viewers
And
will
I'm
judge.
I'm with the president when he says that in the state organs, they are still rogue. So the president is on record saying it is not my word, it is the president's words. So we put the 80 behind us, and our eyes are still on the
20.
We should reduce from 20 to 10, reduce from 10 to 5, if anything.
To 0.
We may not get to perfection, but we try to
Alright.
get. For example, just before I finish, do you know, I have been a human rights judge in the world. You can't imagine when Sweden is coming and you think Sweden is the best. No. Get to know this. There's a procedure called shadow reporting by civil society. When you meet the civil society of Sweden and they tell you the human rights violation in Sweden, you said, hey, is this true?
Right.
So we can't reach perfection.
Thank you so much, Honorable Awich. Council Kakuru,
Yes.
help the people in government to understand how to correct the 20%. What are those areas of improvement such that they can make it 100? They already have the 80.
I will disagree with my good friend, Honorable Awich. It is maybe, I can give it like 40. So the 60 is still behind. They are back.
Where should they focus?
Below pass mark.
Yes, below pass mark, because a lot of things are done. But I think even when we are doing these things as people in charge, we can be humans, because we cannot give away our humanity because we are into an office or a space. If they think about it, that like you can leave your home, you go and work and come back, see your kids if you have any, without fearing that you might be taken away in one way or the other, that the positions are not permanent. They need to understand positions are there for a time. It can change. So as they do their actions, they should reflect on what can come after them, leaving the office.
Life after office.
And someone else is now the one in charge of the office, is the one with the power to do what he can, is the one with. So we should balance life with power and without power. We can live as humans. We can disagree on ways, but we can move on if we are not using force.
All right. Thank you so much. Honorable Kazooba, what are those key areas, if this government is corrected those mistakes, do you think they should focus on?
I'm a realist. You see, Council Kakuru,
Yes.
if today you were running MTN and you're earning about 100 million, you're sending your kids to Harvard, Stanford, and then you wake up one day, they tell you somebody has sneaked in, is a new guy, but he might take your job. Huh? What comes to your head? If it means going for witchcraft to make sure you stop this fella, you'll do it. Now, this is what is happening. The fear to lose power is what is affecting the entire country. That fear is what we have failed to manage. It's not easy to manage it. And in my prediction, that is why I can tell you that that government should do this, because I know it will not happen. It's the situation will have to first get to the worst before it gets better. People will have to die because it is a contest for power. The people with the power are prepared to retain that power.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. So what we are seeing is, these are just simple cases. It's going to get worse each day.
Can't we prevent it from reaching there?
How are you going to do it? How are you going to do it?
Now?
Are you telling me that you want citizens to overwhelm Honorable which is state organs? It will not happen, because me have seen these things. You saw what happened in Tanzania. People were switched off in a space of 1 week. So many people were cleared dead. Burundi, under Nkurunziza, people would jump dead bodies on the streets. Now that is the contest for power that we are talking about. So we must be sober enough, both sides. And both sides, I'm not talking of groups sijui this party or no, I'm saying citizens and people in the government and the state, we need to sit together and agree that please, you should not fear so much. What you are actually fighting to retain, it is only God given. If the man decides, if God decides that he's taking it away today or tonight, he will do it. So there's no need for fear. However, we shall also protect you. If you think that losing power will mean you dying, you understand? So we need calm voices from the population also, not voices of revenge. We shall take you running, you will not sleep in this country if we take power. I think we should tone down so that people are comfortable. That they can even retire. Don't think that, me I believe some of them, by the way, are even retired. They want to get out and retire. But because they fear.
So should we help them go to the retirement?
Now that is the discussion we have to start. That is the sober discussion that we have to start. No, not this agitation. No. We need to sit down because the time has come for a new generation to take over, whether we like it or not. There's a new generation that has to take over power. But should it be at the cost of thousands of lives? What legacy will our country have? Will they keep talking about Uganda that always goes into wars, civil wars, just because of one person getting out of State House and another getting in State House? So we must build a new legacy for our children, for the future generations, that no, Uganda is a peaceful country. Some of us are getting worried, even the countries on the African continent that we thought were examples to us are now degenerating. This is bad. You know, when you're talking to these whites, they say things and you really realize that Africans, as if we are very hopeless. We can't argue in a civil way and debate peacefully. He has said that he likes Honorable Awich.
Yeah.
By the way, I also have to confess, Honorable Awich is one of the most disciplined people.
Together, at least,
Very disciplined in terms of conduct and character. But you find a number of NRM people who even don't know how the bush looked like. But they present themselves as if they own the world. Some of them have just actually joined NRM just recently.
And they want
Me,
to
I
show that
was
they
in
know the
NRM.
pattern.
I think since I'm one of the first people that started a youth group in Imbarara. 2000, I think, 2001.
All right. As you wind up, sir, we are ending our show soon. Your concluding remarks in just
So
a
my
minute.
concluding remarks is that we need a sober discussion. A sober discussion, and the discussion should not be hijacked by the political actors.
All right.
Because they have selfish interests.
Okay.
It should be the yes. We in the DRC, when they wanted to remove Mobutu, if you go and read that story, you will realize that citizens formed themselves into structures and started engaging the state seriously, saying, please, Mobutu, your time has come, don't fear. But later on, it was hijacked by political actors, and the thing got destroyed.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Honorable, do you want to make a comment before go for air regarding their comments? Do you have to make any comment? Do you have any comment?
Do we have
to
time?
raise? Just there, 1 minute for you.
No,
if you
instead, I feel I've already said enough about
Oh.
human rights. Instead, something which came up that I would have contained in my earlier submission is about Tanzania. Kazooba mentioned Tanzania, and to me, it could be misleading. During the campaign, the recent campaign, I was sent by NRM to be with the Tanzania. I was with the president. We did campaign in Dar es Salaam. We flew to Zanzibar. We came back to elect Victoria here. We went back to. But the alleged death in Dar es Salaam was on floor 26. I could see, if it was Sheraton floor 26, you could see up to Wakiso, up to Luzira. The death that is reported wasn't there. Please, I want a disclaimer. That was social media.
Thank you so much. That is Honorable Awich for you. We had Honorable Kazooba Charles and Council Kakuru Tumusiime. Thank you so much for coming in and speaking to all the people watching us, not only Ugandans, but all the people in the region, because this is online. I thank the people I've worked with on camera, Princess Lillian, and in the control room, Koseanot Anthony and Ali Alibawa. It's been a very fresh evening. Wishing you all the best. See you some other time.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.